Alright, so let's get this started. You know who I am. You know how this goes. So, starting off here, you're. A lot of people forget that you can use um, the boots right away. A lot of people forget that you can use the boots here, but you always want to go around the left side here, because your eventual goal is to get to this bridge, which is to your left. Alright, so you wanna transition on the left side. Otherwise you're just coming all the way around here, and then once you get up here you have to backtrack. So it's just better to go to the left. Do that two ways. Safe way is to just swing around and do it like this. This should be 100% consistent. You just do a simple dash turn through those bushes. The try-hard way that you will probably see most people do is something like that, where you just turn left directly out of the door and do that. It makes the path shorter, but it tightens your window of pixels a lot. So I recommend just doing this for now. You're not losing much. Losing maybe 15 frames by doing it the safe way. Yeah, so for that, for this, I want to charge a spin here, and you want to kind of try to trap that guy against the statue here. Reason being, you only have to slash and charge your sword once, so you save time there. But you also force the key to drop closer to the key door, and you don't really need to be in the top half of this room ever. So do this, get your item, and go. Yep, that's how you do that. Alright, you did mostly the right thing there. The only thing I'm gonna say though is go back to here. You should have known that this would bonk. Like, there's nothing even remotely weird about this table. It's just a box. So you should have known that this would bonk. You can stop pressing A at any time to stop your dash and then readjust. It looks like you're defaulting to trying to hit this line here, which is correct because he's gonna block you down there. But I think you want to try to default to the bottom here so that because most of his RNG is like he can do a right, a left, an up, or a down RNG. He's on the down RNG, which means you're safe to take the top. But if he takes any other RNG, I would say just go to the bottom just to give him less of a chance to hit you. Technically, you can take this you can take this path on every RNG except the right one. Um, but if you take the bottom one, you actually end up despawning this guy, whereas you only end up despawning him like 3/4 of the time if you take this one every time. You want to use the dash lines down below. Don't take the stairs until you have to. Try to overshoot that by less, but yeah, that's the general way to get that key dash. Definitely want to dash to the left there, and then if the key rat's in your path, you just get a free kill. And if he's not in your path, you can just cancel whenever you find him. Yeah, hooking there wasn't worth it. I would pick up a couple of red rupees actually. He kind of ran away from you there. Okay. Well, we'll see if those are even required. Yeah, so the crab kind of ran away from you there, but you could use a little bit of a cash infusion at the moment. So what I would do there is try to farm the one up in the forest. I had to make an adjustment there. All right. Well, you ended up not needing the cash anyway, so that's fine. Yeah, try not to waste your bombs like that. Because if you do the 2 bomb farm at the top, you can't really afford to do an extra bomb. Yeah, you definitely want to go through the hedges. So this side of the tree is actually a clean dash line. You just have to cancel it at the bottom. Can I show that? All right, so you're over here. You just came out of the tavern. Dash to the right, dash here, and just cancel at the bottom and transition your screen there. Reason being, you're going to the left to get to the library. So you want to transition the screen as far to the left as possible. Yeah, you might as well pick those up. Yeah, if you watch any of my other VOD reviews, or I probably told you this before, I'm not really a big fan of the dam into mini Moldorm cave play. I know it's what density will tell you to do, but it's not like the amount of time that you're gonna lose to anything being on Agina right now is just too big for me. Like Agina can have your Dark World access, but it can also have like one of 20 other items that you need to get into go mode. Like it's just too big. It's just too dense, or it's too many possibilities that can burn you at the moment. Like that's why people tell you to fully clear Sphere Zero like because there are just so many items that can potentially be there because nothing can lock you out of Sphere Zero. That doesn't need to be that precise for this water walk. Um, to look away for a second. Excuse me? No idea what's happening right now. So here in Ice Rod Cave, you don't actually have to be that precise for this pit. Um, yeah, whatever. All right. So you don't really have to be that precise. This is close enough right here. Like just make the tip of Link's shadow touch the straight line on the edge of the pit and just dash out. And that's enough to give you a water walk. So the way that you check if your water walk is valid or not, if you're ever not sure, you can hold your sword out, and then if this ladder doesn't slow you down at all, then your water walk is armed. Right? Versus if I do this and disarm my water walk, then you can see like the ladder's slowing down my walking speed, but it wasn't before. So if you're ever not sure if your water walk is armed, you can just use that ladder to check. Oh, yeah. Crabs suck. Yep. I might have turned in Mushroom first, knowing that Eastern's a pendant. But this is fine too. Because, like, once you come over here, now you're pretty much just full clearing Eastern, no matter what, whereas Mushroom might just be your progression. Yeah, so even though you found back-to-back items, now you have to, like, hmm. Yeah, I don't think you ever had an opportunity to leave. Once you came here, you were full clearing it no matter what. Which is why I would have done Mushroom first, hoping to not have to do this, but you can you can defend it by saying you're going to density. I may have gone straight to the boss here because this is out of logic, but the boss is in logic, and it's a coin flip who has the last item. Like you have to kind of look at your loadout sometimes and be like, okay, why did the randomizer give me this? And the answer is usually because there's an item behind it. Like the randomizer sets things up in such a way that there are progressive spheres, and like knowing where you got stuff can usually tell you why you got stuff. And like if stuff is out of logic, then you know like not to follow it or whatever. There's the lamp. Lamp doesn't help us, because well, I guess lamp helps us because it's an agassiz. So yeah, at this point, mushroom's a quick enough turn in to do, but I think you need to just go to Aga1. Yep. Yeah, you can't change your mind like that. That's just gonna lose you time. Whenever you commit to something, you gotta fully commit to it. Alright, so this is gonna be something that I will always do differently than everybody else. Simply because I'm a speedrunner and they are not. So usually what you'll see done in speedruns is something like this. And there's a reason that we do that. That reason is so that we can skip a prize pack. So we can force a prize pack drop to be somewhere else. And to get this key dash. What you really should do though is just come through that, go through this door with your sword out. Just spin these guys. And you can set up the same key dash. Sometimes you'll see speedrunners do stuff that is slower but on purpose. Like you slow down there so you can speed up later. But we don't need to do that in rando. I guess you just wanted to farm that heart, which is fine. It's interesting that you fire rotted all the other red guards, but not the one, that one that got in the way. Decided to sword slash one. Already had your fire rod out and everything. You get a magic refill after this because you beat it with the moon pearl. So it's not like like a huge deal to run out of magic here. So when you're attacking Aga 1, you want to push him toward the center of the room. There are 8 positions that he can warp to, and the center of the room is closest to all of them. So you always just want to try and hit him toward the center as much as you can. Sometimes he's posted up on the wall, and you can't really knock him toward the center, in which case you just kind of take your lumps and cry. Alright, with no hammer here, okay, yeah, you definitely needed to not save and quit there. Because you definitely needed to hook across the river. Oh, Flipper's on LJL, that's right. Flippers doesn't really get you anything right now. And the thing is, like, you could have found a mirror somewhere in Village of Outcasts that would have made that check a lot faster. Like, Flippers doesn't get you anything without the mirror. At least it doesn't get you enough, in my opinion, that you need to go for it now. I think you should have hooked across and just gone to Village of Outcasts and Skullwoods. Yeah, it's just this swimming that you're doing is super slow. And yeah, you could hedge against something being on Zora, which fine, whatever, but like you can always just leave Catfish behind as well cuz you're looking for a mirror right now, like almost 100% you're looking for a mirror right now. Cuz Mirror opens Swamp Palace. Well, Mirror and Hammer open Swamp Palace, but if you get a mirror, you're going to be clearing Swamp. Okay, so there was a glove on Zora. Got kind of lucky there at the end. It was looking pretty grim for you, but and like I said, that glove doesn't really get you anything except for Catfish, which is gonna. I see. I see what the problem was. So you probably don't know Splash Delete, which is what would have gotten you past this thing. So in that case, going getting the flippers is fine. I just don't think you should have done the flipper checks. They don't. I don't think they gain you enough, or they don't gain you anything that you won't be able to get later. Unfortunate, but just kind of have to. Yeah, so you're getting beat up a little bit here because you just don't know how to do the screen. So, like, let's go back to. I don't think you made it there before you died, did you? Oh yeah, you did. Okay. Well, let's go back to here. Take a knock there. And you're kind of playing careful. That's if you're playing careful, you should not have done that dash, and I'll show you in a second. But yeah, so just general unfamiliarity with the screen is what's gonna get you taking some damage here. Now you're standing here slashing and not really doing much, and that is exactly why you should not do that dash. So the NMG speed run, that screen is called the lottery screen. Now we're actually gonna go back a screen here. We're actually gonna go back to here. So alright, so from this screen, you want to come up and you want to grab this rock, carry it through the transition, throw it to kill that guy, and then you dash to kill that guy, and then if you're a risk taker, then you can dash on this line. It's a slightly longer dash line, but you do get hit 1 out of like every 16 times. That's why it's called the lottery. So what I recommend for you is to just dash through these top bushes here, and then you'll kill that guy every time and not have to worry about him. It wasn't sold on Catfish before, but now, like, you kind of have to. But now you're isolating that mushroom check, and it's fine to say, oh, well, I'm gonna get it when I get the flute, but what if your flute is there? Then you're boned. I probably just go into the dungeon there. You're at 2 hearts. You kind of don't want to put yourself in a bad situation. On Muffin's Tracker, you actually don't need to mark the blue crystals, because once you pick them up, they'll auto-track. I wouldn't try to line up the dash there. Just walk into there. Like, there is a grid dash that you can do into Sea House, but honestly, it just takes too long. So, see, you're a bunny here. That's exactly why you don't transition the screen there. So you're gonna come over here, get this chest. Down here, this chest, this way. You're gonna run down to this middle transition. Reason being, now I can just even walk this whole way, and I'm not a bunny. As long as you transition the screen here, this bunny beam isn't gonna hit you. But if I transition up top, And I'm gonna get hit every time by this thing. Because it just takes too long to get down here. That's why you transition the screen in the middle instead of the top. I probably would have grabbed that heart. You're one hit to everything. Yeah, try not to use your cape through door transitions. So you can soft lock your game that way, and if you're out of magic, then you're just there forever. Alright, well, at least you got the bomb open. Definitely want to go up the right side, and actually, it is technically faster after you, after a death. It's technically faster if you just jump down right away, and then you just diagonal up here. I definitely recommend learning the blind script, because it'll help you out a good bit. I would have used the Cane of Burna there, just because you can use Burna as a weapon against blinds, whereas the cape you're not also using a weapon against blind. Try to stay a little closer to the exit of the dig game. Like, go tall there instead of long. Yeah, you're taking extra screen. Maybe not. I don't think it matters. All right, we're gonna do this hammerless because we can. But like, you would have much rather, you would have been a lot happier with that mirror if you had found it and been able to grab your flippers with that instead of the way that you did things. So, if you use your hook shot on hearts, you have a 25% chance to get 2 hearts on a refill instead of just one. You gotta hit the switch. Yeah, rip. You're about to find out why. Oh, never mind. Got it. Need the hookshot key. Oh no. Did you not get the diver down key? Is that what happened? Yeah, luckily with Specky Clip you get the extra key here, but I think let's actually rewind and see. You missed. So you have the hookshot key now underneath the eastern pots here. You're going to use it on that door. But there's a key underneath this skull right here that you missed. You can only get once you flood that room, you can only get that key through the diver down glitch, which is legal. But it seems like you probably don't know it, or you probably would have used it to do this. So, yeah, before Diver Down was found, they're flooding that was a soft lock, and it's not anymore. But you need to know how to get it. Yeah, so Diver Down would have solved most of your problems here. Just how to do that. So, kill that guy. And you can probably kill that guy too. I'll just get in your way. So what you do is you line link up on this rail, go straight to the left, face to the right, and you want to place your cane block so that the left bit of it is sticking out from here. You can get it pretty far under there and it'll still work, but it needs to be at least sticking out a little bit. Alright, now what you do here is you want to jump in the water. Once you land, you want to buffer down right for 1 frame. And then you want to immediately switch from down right to right. Okay. So you jump out of the water. And then once you jump out of the water, swing your sword, hold diagonal upright. you kind of have to press them quickly. Then you get your chests, and you move on with your life. So, real time. Take the kickback here. Oh, it didn't kick me back. Whatever. On real time, that's gonna look something like this. If you can't get it right away, like the movement in and out of the water is the real tricky part here, because this is easy. This is just put yourself on this very easily obtainable pixel and place that down. The movement in and out of the water is the hard part, because it has to be done rather quickly. So what you do is when you're jumping, you want to hold down right while Link is jumping. Like you see, I'm holding down right while Link is jumping. And that's so I get a clean button press, and I don't hit like right before down or down before right. And then after the splash, you want to see Link move. Like that. You just want to see him move that tiny little bit. Just once he starts moving, that's when you switch to the cardinal. Knowing that will save you a lot of time, because you'll be able to get those chests without having to backtrack 3 rooms for it. I wouldn't run all the way back for the big chest right now. The amount that you have to backtrack to this big chest, plus the amount that you'll now have to backtrack to the boss, it's better to just go beat the boss than it is to retrace all these rooms. Just go to the boss, and then if the big chest is an item, then you can just come back for it. Especially since we still had an at-large compass, like you're gonna have to kill Argus no matter what. So you take the 50-50 there because it's something you have to do anyway. And then maybe the compass is in the big chest and you don't end up having to go back. Whereas if you commit yourself to going back for the big chest right away, then you're already committed. I think this is the maybe end of this video. Alright, so skip ahead here. Yeah, you just got a flute, activate, go to the mountain, you can clear a good bit of stuff here, plus there's a crystal up here you can get. Yeah, I would just go up the left side anyway, because you already have everything you need to beat Hera quickly, and you can just knock these off your list. Very good. So you can knock these off your list. You can also not supposed to move there. You had everything right up until you placed the bomb. You're not supposed to move off that pixel. That's why you do the sword line up there. But like the other reason to go for Hera here is you don't have a hammer. So you can't actually access Hera from this side. So you're gonna lose time getting back to the old man. Okay. I don't know what went wrong there. I think maybe you got on your pixel and then you nudged off of it the first time. Because if it was the slot zero enemy drop, then it wouldn't have worked the second time. So I'm not sure what went wrong the first time there. Don't slash Moldorm with Master Sword. Because if you just do spins, then you can skip this enrage phase. The end of that one. Open up the second one here. So it looks like we're unpausing. Go to 2 times speed. Um, yeah, shovel's fine. If you're trying to think of stuff to do, you just pick something and do it for sure. You do have a flute now, so you can turn in the mushroom. You also already have powder, so I guess we're going to pod, though. Which, again, is fine, I guess, but you definitely should have done Skullwoods when you were in Village of Outcasts. I know you were at low health, and no bottles, no mail, no anything, but from an efficiency standpoint, you should have at least, like, dipped in and gotten the items from Skullwoods. And all this running around and wanting to do something else and then not doing something else is just bleeding time. Let's go up through the middle so you don't have to trip that switch again. Alright, so the way that you route pod rando. Shooter chest, you know where that is. If shooter chest is a key, that means you can go through here and get this key door. After which you want to bomb this wall open. Get this key. If that's a key, then you come over here and you get the big key chest. If that's not a key, then you don't really have any choice. You just have to fall down here and get Stolfo's basement. But just remember, if you get 2 keys to start pod, then you need to get the big key chest. Here is when you would do the 2 right side checks, and without a hammer, that's when you would mirror to the front. Back through here. And you go back. If you have a big key at this point, you can do the hammer jump to save on a little efficiency. Otherwise, come over here, get this chest, get the 2 down there. If 2 out of these 3 chests are keys, then you have to come down here to Harmless Hellway, otherwise just make your way to the left side. And that's how you route pod. You didn't technically have to do Harmless Hellway there, but whatever. Yeah, it's unfortunate the pod was empty there. Oh, you don't have to run out of here, actually. Aga 1 is dead, so if you save and quit, you go to the pyramid. And pyramid is closer to everywhere you want to go right now. If you wanted to turn in the mushroom, it was faster to mirror and flute to 2 to do that. So you do get to follow that up with since you did it the way you did it, do get to follow it up with one of these with these 2 checks, but I think doing Skullwoods into these was a better option. And maybe turn in the mushroom check if you still have it after that. Alright, so we're just looking for Mitts. Yeah, so Mitts Go Mode is one of the better ones. There's a lot of stuff. There's like 50 odd checks that are behind Mitts. It's easy to just grab your items and go. There's not very many places that can hold them. So my guess here is that you put off Skullwoods for this long because you're just not as familiar with the dungeon. So hopefully that gets mitigated a little bit by, yeah, see, falling down these holes is like a last resort. You have I guess you don't have a key because you burned it to get to Pinball Room. But like going to Pinball Room from this side would have been better. Because you want to have your mirror point be on the front door. You don't want to have it be in one of these random rooms. So yeah, doing Pinball Room here would have been better, because then you would have escaped with the key you already had. Or you could have just mirrored. So, just out of curiosity, let's go back to when you entered this room. So you entered this room at 1449. Let's see how long it takes you to get through. To 1504. So that took somewhere around 15 seconds for you to do that room the way you did it, plus you burned most of your magic doing it that way. Here's an easy strat. Fire twice, dash up here, fire, hit him with the pot, fire twice, and now you're out of the room. 8 seconds, 45 frames, that's about half the time that you just did the thing that you did. Plus, you only use as much of your magic as you have to, versus doing the 4 extra fire rod shots with the mummies. should never get grabbed by the hand if you do that correctly. Yeah, it's fine to use the fire rod to burn your remaining magic because you were at low health going into there and you knew you were gonna have to drink your potion. But after you drink the potion, I would say try and use your hammer more. Hammer does a lot more damage than Master Sword. Plus, you just drank a potion, so you're gonna have sword beams, which is not great. Yeah, get this stuff while you're here, but I think Pyramid Fairy is probably your answer here. I doubt that it's the last thing in Pod. Spike Cave's definitely an option, but at this point, I would last locate Agina. If it's Agina, it's a Sphere Zero check. Your opponent could have gone here at literally any time. So, like, if they have, then you're just resigning yourself to being behind, and you're giving them the time back. You're giving up the time that you were saving by dodging Agina. When you have a better option, don't go chasing one-offs. And right now you have a better option that you just ran past. So if you're going to pod, yeah, there we go. Seems like you're probably distracted, so... Okay, that's fine. Just go over clear pod. And then after pod, I probably do Agina, and then it's Hera Basement and Spike Cave. So yeah, this is why the mitts are a much better go mode item than most other items. Because it just locks so much, and it locks a lot of, like, out of the way stuff. And it locks a lot of, like the Smith chain, which takes a long time to execute. See, now you're down to 3 locations, and you're gonna get to skip every single one of those that's red. So yeah, just a tip for Helma in particular, but like this works pretty much anywhere. So my hammer's hitbox is not very big. I need to get like right up on him to get hits. So like
This probably won't... Oh, he walked into it. So yeah, like, that won't work. But if I have my sword extended, I don't have to get quite so close. Essentially, when you have your sword out, your hammer's hitbox includes the sword as well. So you don't have to get quite as close to get those hits in, and you won't take that damage that you're taking. The other thing is, if you arm spin speed in here, it'll keep your sword out. Well, this seems pretty alright, actually. Just left the hammer on Graveyard Ledge for too long. See, I don't run into that because if I was playing the seed, I definitely would have gone to Thieves Town trying to look for a hammer. What would have caught me up would have been Zora. And I'm not 100% sure when I get to that. So I would have also been Mitsuko mode, but in a different way. Yeah, so if you can't hover, I would say checking the spike chest first when you're in go mode is just better. Just because even if your big key is on the bridge, like, you're gonna have to go through the spike room anyway. But you're not required to go through the bridge room to get to the spike room. So you have to go to the spike room no matter what. And even if your big key is in the bridge chest, yes, it's a little less efficient, but you still have to exit and go through the spike room again. Whereas if it's just in the spike room, you can just go and you don't need to visit the bridge at all. And you can even still get the bridge chest on the way to the boss if you want to fluff it for something like a sword. Yeah, you don't have to go all the way. Oh, yeah, you do. Okay. Yeah, so you get to skip 2 entire dungeons. You get to skip East Death Mountain. To skip the Smith Chain. Like, a lot of the really slow parts of the game, you just get to go right past because Mitz was your go mode. Well, wouldn't recommend doing that. A good habit to get into is probably to just like start menu after your last dungeon and make sure you have 7 crystals, because running to GT with less than 7 happens every single year, and not just in the mentor tournament. Yeah, checking this stuff for a sword isn't terrible. You're going through Super Bunny Cave anyway. Might as well just check this stuff too. Like, having the ability to do Master Sword Ganon is definitely what I would call essential tech, but you never want to actually have to do it. So, just all right, well, maybe it's just on the climb then. I think I showed you those rooms a few days ago. It's good to know that this is here, but I would try to do it as few times as possible. It is kind of slow to get in and out of. Plus, sword beams on the GT climb is not a very good situation. Yeah, try and knock those guys into the spikes as much as you can. Spikes do cold sword damage versus your master sword. Alright, so I'm gonna show both Landmo fights here. So what you do in the first one, bonk off the wall, and then you go like... So what I'm doing here, just go straight up, and then I want to hold upright while I'm bonking, and then move up like, I want to say maybe like 4 pixels, and then face to the left. So live, just looks like that. So bonk off this wall, go up a little bit, and then stand like there-ish. And then, so Landmo dig holes have 3 patterns. That's the first one. That's the second one. And that's the third one. So you want to wait until the one in the top right gets to the second stage before you start firing your arrows here. And you'll always hit that one perfectly. The rest is just timing. I just kind of... There's like a dance that I do to keep my timing. If you get knocked by rocks, it doesn't usually matter. You usually still clean it up. Alright, So similar setup here. I'm just gonna bonk off the top wall, and then I'm gonna stand over where the second one is gonna spawn. Wait till it's at stage 2, and then go. The reason for this is you need to bait that fireball away, so you can't stand in the middle. Again, don't worry if you get knocked around a little bit. You'll be fine. You're gonna need to get a little better on quick swap, but what you're doing now is fine. So for this room, not that one, this one, you actually want to take a couple of steps to the right and use this black line as your guide. So what can happen here? The way that this game detects collision is once every 4 frames, for some reason, Link doesn't collide with an enemy. So, so when you're doing this and you run up to an enemy, there's a 1 out of 4 chance that you're not going to collide with that guy correctly. So you want to kind of try to get to the right side of the room, and then you get to skip most of that. Doing it just in the center there is like, I think it's like a 75 or 80% chance that you'll get through, but like if you go up like 2 steps to your right, it's like a 99% chance to get through. You're refilling your magic all the way anyway, so try and skip that small magic. Nice rod. Yeah. So you just put yourself in a bad spot because you don't really know how Moldor moves. That'll just come with practicing the boss fight a little more. Essentially, Moldorm has 3 random movements, and then he charges you. Alright, that was about as good as I can ask for. Those weren't easy patterns, but you got some doubles. The no blue balls helped tremendously, but still got some good hits in. Oops. So if hopefully it lets me show this. So if Ganon's down here, close to the wall, you want to be hitting him from down below to get double spins. And like kind of launch yourself out to one side. Just get more bang for your buck that way. I
I'd probably use the rest of that magic before potioning up. Doing a good job of surviving here, even though it's not the fastest. Alright, well. If you would have dodged that last bat, you probably get the rest of the way. I go get more potions. Try again. What I would have done here, actually, is once you come back into the dark world, I would save and quit here. Save and quit puts you back on top of the pyramid, and then if you're gonna die again and again, you can just hard reset. You can just file reset game, and then you'll get your potions back. You won't have to run for more again. Try not to point your sword toward Ganon like that, because he can just like he can, if you poke him, then it's just gonna put your sword away and it's not gonna charge it anymore. Eventually, you will need to practice this fight more, but just doing survival strats like you are will probably carry you pretty far for now. Like just having the ability to execute this fight is really important. Can work on going fast later. I would be using the cape a lot more here. Oh, you already used both potions? Yeah. Yeah, so like I said, if you have to run for potions and you've beaten Naga 1, you can just save and quit and it'll put you on the pyramid. And then you won't have to if you talk to the shop attendant, you don't have to buy a red potion like that. You can just get a health refill that way. Don't use Somaria as a stop for your spins. Yeah, you need to be using your cape a lot more here. Because essentially your blue potion there was just the same as a red potion. And if you had used your magic, then you would be getting the full benefit of having a blue potion, where in this case it doesn't really matter. So like here, you didn't get any hits in at all because you're afraid of getting hit here. You're afraid of this ring of bats. Well, if you had the cape on, then you could just run through it, get some hits in. Really sure why you went for torch glitch there and then just stood there and did nothing, but that's what it is. All right. GG. I mean, just overall, I can tell you're just still not familiar with the game. You know where to go, but well, in some places you know where to go. Some places like Pod, you should probably just change up your routing a little bit. Um, and yeah, Master Sword Ganon, like the ability to do it is very important. Um, Less important to be able to do it fast. You can work on getting faster at it some other time. All right, that's all I got.